Did somebody say glass bending? Yeah, you heard it right, my dear benders. Glassbending has been the talk of the town for a few years now, but was never really made official. Until now, that is. The first canon example of glassbending was revealed this year through the fearsome Avatar Kyoshi. I know you're burning to find out all about that shiny new ability and how exactly it works. So pick up your war fans and let's get to glassbending. As you may already know, knowledge about bending is not set in stone. Our little grumpy friend Toph has proven that when she discovered and perfected metalbending. Avatar and Legend of Korra always seem to look back in time to improve or imagine the future of bending. And that's exactly what I aim to do in today's video. While glassbending never actually appears in either animated series and was only speculation, it is now canon, thanks to the show's creator's latest novel, The Shadow of Kyoshi. Co-written by Michael Dante DiMartino himself and F.C. Yee, the book tells the early life of the brutal Avatar Kyoshi. The mention of glassbending can easily be missed since there's literally only 2 sentences about it in the book. Let me read it for you. With her free hand, she opened a fan and aimed the leaf at the garrote wound around her throat. The shards of glass in her skin plucked themselves out under the force of her earthbending and balled into a floating clump that dropped to the floor when she switched her focus to a nearby pitcher. Ain't that interesting? How could she do it? Well, we don't know a whole lot about her, but I can tell you for a fact that Kyoshi is indeed OP and ruthless. Compared to Aang or Korra, Kyoshi would not hesitate an instant to kill in order to bring balance to the world, or to protect her people. Now, I want you to remember that time Aang dressed in oversized Kyoshi warrior clothes in order to summon her. Facing a tribunal, Kyoshi's spirit took over Aang, and, well, confessed to the murder of Conqueror Chin. Tough break, little guy. Now, what interests me here is the flashback. Whether she killed Chin or not is debatable, kinda. But what I want you to focus on is what led to his fall. What did Kyoshi use to split Kyoshi Island from the mainland? Think. Think hard. Think harder! Okay, you got 3 seconds. 1, 2, 3. If you guess lightning generation, then you're wrong. It's lava bending. Until Gazan and Bolin used the rare technique in Korra, it wasn't clear whether it was an earthbending or a firebending technique, since it has only been used in the past by 3 avatars: Kyoshi, Yangchen, and Roku. Thinking about it day and night, I woke up this morning telling myself, why not both? What if advanced bending techniques are mixed element bending? While I am very tempted to discuss the other elements, and believe me, I will in a future video, let's stick to earthbending for now. Well, sort of. Let's take a seat because I will say something scandalous. Lava bending is mixed earthbending plus firebending, and so is glassbending. Firebending has subtly shown its face in earthbender techniques during Korra. Think about it. How do you liquefy metal? Heat. How do you get the heat? Fire. Earthbending. The same can be said about lava. I don't really need to explain that one, do I? Just look at it. It's hot. Super hot. One last question for you guys. How do you make glass? A whole lot of fire and some sand. I rest my case. In my humble opinion, glassbending, just like metal bending, is a technique only highly trained benders can achieve. Kyoshi being one of the most powerful benders of all time, it only makes sense that no one after her has mastered it. Or was she the only one? It's easy to focus on warriors and epic battles, but what if we look at people who are more often than not out of the spotlight? The Sandbender tribes of the Siwang Desert, for example. These guys ring a bell? Of course they do. They kidnapped that poor Appa back in the days. Back in Aang's youth, most of them were bandits and thieves, living on the edge of society. Trading stolen goods with Earth Kingdom merchants was how they survived. But what actually happened to them during Korra's time? They get a minute or 2 of screen time in the episode Long Live the Queen, but not much is known about their culture in a globalizing world. And you know what that means. It's time for imagination. So, firebenders have found a productive way to use their powers in Korra by powering up Republic City using lightning generation. What if sandbenders have reinvented themselves as glassmakers? After all, these modern buildings need windows, don't they? Sandbending is one hard skill to master. Just ask Toph. Or not, if you don't want to get hit by a rock right in the face. Anyways, all that to say, I'm confident that they would be able to get a hold of glassbending in no time. That being said, could glassbending be of use in combat? Of course. If there's some sand around, that is. Glass bending would require a degree of creative bending. What I mean by that is glass would have to be created on the spot using a degree of mixed bending. It could become a very lethal type of bending, allowing the user to create flying shards, glass weapons, or mirrors to fool their enemies. Think Naruto's Shadow Clone Jutsu, but it's the user's reflection 100 times. Now that you know more about glass bending, how would you use glass bending? If you're not much of an earthbender, then what kind of other sub-elements do you think are out there? Let's keep the discussion going in the comments down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button and keep on bending.